Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be, what is it? Oh yeah, today we're going to be telling story times on YouTube. No, we're going to be telling story times about a subreddit, malicious compliance, which is sort of like, most of the stuff is like, if we're like job bosses, they'll like ask you to do something and they found a cheeky way to get revenge. It's pretty interesting, and I'll probably find other ones to get to, like r/entitled people, but I will be making those videos. I should be making those videos. So drop a subreddit that you think I should check out, or even better yet, send me one of your own stories in the comments down below. That would be greatly appreciated, and thank you. And if you like this video, like and subscribe. So now, let's get to actually reading this. I do not have the best voice quality. So malicious compliance. Okay. So I'm a 30-year-old female. I a 30-year-old. Oh, hold up. Sorry guys. I just need to get something like this. Okay, we're good. So I'm a 30-year-old female, and I have been working at a super small construction company for the past 2 years. I've put my best foot forward every day and never have any issues with anyone in the company. As of 3 months ago, they moved me from an infield coordinator to an accounting position. It was an emergency move. I was one of the employees stole $80,000 from the company, and they needed an immediate replacement. My new supervisor, we'll call her Mary, a 34-year-old female, who is always super kind to me, and we've become pretty good in-work friends. These past couple of months have been hell. I hate the new position, and to be fair, I'm not very good at it. So I found a new position, and I've been keeping it a secret for a while. I let the owner know first, and he was very kind and receptive to it. The issue started with Mary. Mary got word of it, and she immediately cornered me and started going on this rant saying, Why didn't you tell me? You're being incredibly unfair, selfish. I can't believe you did this to us. This is unacceptable. Don't ask me for a referral because you are not getting one from me, etc., etc. I politely told her that the opportunity was something I simply couldn't pass up. She then went to the owner and asked for any details I might have given him about the new company and the new position. I believe they tried to sabotage me leaving, and thankfully I hadn't discussed any new details about it with anyone. It was awkward after that, but I didn't think anything of it. The next few days were when things took a turn for the worse. Mary decided to be petty and removed all my authorizations to any accounts I had, so I couldn't perform any of my daily tasks. I didn't want to leave on a sour note, so I brought it up to the owner, as Mary was out of office that day. He reauthorized my accounts and I continued to work. Mary was back the following day. I was completely livid that I had went around her and talked directly to the owner. Her actions towards me would only get worse from here on out. The next day I came in to notice that my desk was moved and my computer access was taken away. Yet again, cue the malicious compliance. Since I couldn't do any of my daily tasks and really didn't feel like dealing with a screaming Mary, I was on Reddit basically the whole day. And at the end of the day, Mary came back into my new storage office and said, "Busy day." I know mine was. I just smiled and said, "Yep, exhausting." She did not like that response and went to the owner to say that I was purposely not doing my job, and my last 2 weeks would be pointless, so we should just let me go now. The owner disagrees, calls me into his office, and after I explained what she had done, he gave me access and told Mary to work from home. Another day goes, and it's extremely peaceful now that Mary's working remote. But unfortunately, this does not mean that my day is getting easier. Instead of taking my access away, she had IT start forwarding. I couldn't tell if it was it or IT. Start forwarding all my emails to other employees in the other departments that had nothing to do with my specific position. At this point, I only had 3 days left, and so I just took it as, okay, this sucks for them, but it's on Mary. And if anyone has questions, I looked at my PTO, and I had way more than I thought. So why not use those from my last day? And that's exactly what I did. I originally supposed to let all the vendors know and start forwarding them off to the appropriate people and interview second round candidates from my position, but not anymore. The owner was completely okay with it and understood that Mary was being toxic and that he would have a talk with her about attitude and position if this continues. Now, with my last 2 days on me being PTO, finally thought I was safe from her, but lo and behold, she was holding a massive grudge, as if me leaving my position was a personal attack on her. She called me at 4:30 in the morning and left a voicemail saying her company was having an accounting emergency and I need to come in immediately. I called her back about 4 hours later, which she was fuming about, and went on a massive rant about how I'm extremely entitled. I'll never get anywhere with my attitude. She's embarrassed for a company to say that I ever worked here, that if she finds out where I'll be working, she'll make sure that I'm fired and will never get a job in this town again. I laughed at her and she went ballistic. Like when you take a 4-year-old's toy away, screaming so loud her voice was shaking, saying silly things like I have no respect for her or the company and that I will run house. Excuse me, I need the drink. I need to grab a drink. I hung up on her once again. She started bringing my family into things. I called the owner and explained to him what happened, which he wasn't shocked about, and had told me that when she came in that morning, she was going on a rampage like the Tasmanian devil. After finding out why she was freaking out, he promptly fired her. I was shocked since this was such a small company and he definitely needed her. I had heard from another coworker that she ended up destroying a bunch of computer property on her way out. Now she's facing a lawsuit due to damages. So thankfully, she revealed her true self to anyone, and that I'm far, far away from the company and her. So honestly, yeah, what did you expect? Like, you're putting them in a company. They weren't too good at the PTO. Whatever. I don't honestly know what that stands for. I'll probably learn. But I saw one earlier while I was scrolling. But what did you expect them to do? Like, if you're gonna, if they're not good at the job, they don't like the job in the first place, don't be surprised when they even want to leave that position. So if they want to leave the position and find another position after training up like a new hire, don't insult them, because that'll just get worse. Because if you want them in their original position to do what they used to do, then if you want them to still be doing what they used to do, if you still want to be, oh god, I can't speak. If you still want them to be used to doing what they used to do, don't honestly, try to tell them that they're so selfish and entitled. Gotcha. This will be a good one. Anyways, let's hop right into this one. I used to work in a school as a support educator in a high school scenario. And I got to know a lot of my students quite well. They all very much look forward to me being in the class, which can't speak, which was a nice, warm, and fuzzy feeling, because it meant I was doing my job and I was doing it well. One day, midweek, the school was severely short-staffed, and the powers that B were having to step in and cover classrooms themselves due to catastrophic staff shortage. As an education support employee, As an education support employee, I'm not allowed to be in a classroom on my own with any students because I was not a fully qualified teacher. I'm sorry, guys. In the event I got to a classroom there was no teacher presence, I was not allowed to unlock the classroom and let the students in order to keep them safe and together, to ensure we did not disrupt classrooms around the area. This made my due diligence to performing my children's protection duties very difficult in circumstances like this. I had a duty of care to the students, which I'm assuming is pretty much like yeah, you have to let them in, and like you have to let them into the class. You know, like you can't. I'm assuming that's like it's like something like that, like the basic teacher rules. But I also had, yeah, how to care to this, how to duty care to the students. But I also had to adhere to the policy of not being alone in the classroom with students without a fully qualified teacher present. I arrived to a class where the powers. I don't know what they mean by powers. So they're talking about like, I don't know, powers that B forgot to B forgot to roster on a sub-teacher, knowing the policies of the school, and still from the realm of my duty to care to the students. I spoke to the senior class about what had happened. I asked them to please be respectful of the classrooms around us. If they could work with me while I found out who would be coming down to essentially babysit us all, was the way I put it. The students were awesome and just sat down, got their current workout from other classes, grouped together, and got to it. I rang the correct line. I was instructed to ring if this ever did happen. They said they would send someone straight up. I went and notified the teachers, either side of us, what was happening. So I knew there just weren't a bunch of unruly delinquents hanging out where we shouldn't be, no complaints could be made against me. So what they're saying is like they got together with a teacher, and I was like, "Okay, can you help me with this?" Because like there's no fully qualified teacher. How am I supposed to be teaching? So I'm assuming they just, from what it sounds like, I couldn't really comprehend the way they worded it that well. I should probably, but from what it seems like, I might not be 100% sure, but it kind of seems like they kind of just formed a group in their classroom, took their students and just kind of merged it with them so they could have a fully qualified teacher present while they teached. And I'm assuming the waited 10 minutes was to wait for someone to come, for more people like to come, and if this same situation was happening to join. So I'm assuming that's why she was calling, and just to tell them. Okay, I'm getting sidetracked. We waited 10 minutes and no one turned up. I rang again. I was told the same thing, and we waited patiently and quietly again. One of the teachers came out to see what was happening. I informed them no one had turned up, and I contacted the office a second time and informed the teachers that the office had advised that they were sending someone straight up. The teacher did the old tisk at me, returned to their class, and shut the door to block us out. The lesson time was 40 minutes long. By this point, we were 25 minutes into the lesson period. The principal normally does this rounds throughout the high school a couple times a week before the lunchtime let out, and he found us all working quietly and efficiently outside this classroom. He came up. Oh, I understand. They weren't doing it in a classroom. Oh God, I'm stupid. They weren't doing it in a classroom. They were doing it outside the classroom. Because if they're doing it outside the classroom, no one can stop them. Because it was about inside the classroom. Before the lunchtime let up, efficiently outside this classroom, he came up and started blasting the students as to why they weren't in class. Quickly stepped in and said, "Hi, sir. You must be a replacement teacher. I've rung the office twice and no one has been sent to take the lesson." Now the principal was widely known to be on the downhill ride to retirement. So for him to have to do this was a real inconvenience to him. So he begrudgingly unlocked the classroom door, let us all in, and proceeded to babysit us. So what kind of happened is they kind of just sat at the classroom and worked on their class. And just waited for a substitute teacher to come in to babysit y'all, which honestly makes sense. I'm gonna stop getting mastermind. Babysit us until lunch break. Once everyone was released into lunch, I need a drink. I asked to accompany him to his office to have a word. Our line manager was summoned, and I coped a nice big ton of talking for my actions. Okay. I was confused as to why I was getting reamed for the way I'd handle things, because I followed the conflicting policies to the letter. I then asked for clarification and brought up all the written instructions and policies of the school to get the principal to explain to me where I had gone wrong. He couldn't fault what I had done, but because his senior staff had cocked up and not assigned a sub to the class I was with, he had to step in and help out. And because I had been there to instigate that he'd take responsibility, being the principal of the school and the only qualified teacher in the vicinity. He had a beef with me about that. Single quotes, if you know what I mean. Beef with me about that. I requested that the principal and my line manager send me an email with attached policies, highlighting what should I do in the future, and I would ensure it never happened. My God. How long is this thing? He had a beef with me about it. Requested me. I got a question. Oh, this isn't that long. Okay. Qualified teacher in the vicinity. He had a beef with me about that. I requested that the principal and my line manager send me an email with the attached policies highlighting what should I do in the future, and I would ensure it never happened again. They both seemed happy with that. Sent me what I had already pulled up for clarification, but this time their names were attached to it. My principal included a step-by-step layout of what was expected of me, even though I did exactly that to the letter anyway, but this time I had in writing. I printed off, laminated it, and carried it in with me at all times, plus saved the email, just in case. Few of the other support workers learned for the gossip channel what I had done. Oh, hold up. Give me a second. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry. Boomer gun. In. Workers learned for the gossip channel what I had gone through, and I advised that they also ask for what I had in writing, so they knew and couldn't be screwed. I wasn't going to send it to them, as we all knew how that stuff. This is a family-friendly channel where we laugh at boss. I'm joking. How that stuff, crap. We're just gonna say that pans out, and it's best to have it directly from the horse's mouth. Cumulatious compliance. Over the coming weeks, the staff shortage was still an issue, and my scenario occurred to 4 of my other support staff members over various classes and on various days. Each time one of them experienced no teacher turning up to take the class, they followed the step-by-step protocol set out by the principal to letter. The final instructions of his emails: if you get to the 20-minute mark on a lesson and no one has showed up, even though you have contacted staff support, please send me an email immediately to document the occurrence, so we can monitor how often this happens, and then follow up with a phone call to inform me you are on your own outside the classroom with the students, so I can come and help and find someone to help. Find someone to help. The principal was called out to 9 different lessons in the space of 3 days to take the classes that sub-teachers had not been supplied to. On the Friday of that week, all support staff were dragged in for a meeting during break. I knew it was coming, so I walked in with my laminated copies of the email I originally asked for, plus my employment agreement, fair work documents, child protection laws, and training documents, and laws surrounding lunch breaks. We all got absolutely blasted for the amount of times we had contacted the principal in the last week for help with the classrooms not covered by fully qualified teachers. We all just sat there and coped with it. And then we were asked if we had anything to say for ourselves. Of course, the principal's management team was not under fire for their blunders. All of this came from their mismanagement and not doing their jobs properly. I stood up and phoned the support line for employees with a union rep I got someone on loudspeaker. I knew the conversation would be recorded at the union's inn. I authorized it to be recording, as I wanted the whole glorious thing to be captured, so no recourse could happen to any of us. I explained what the situation was, and inviting the principal to chime in at any time to provide his facts on the matter. I provided the proof of the principal's emails. I provided my employment contract, which was the same for all people in my position, that stated hours to work and therefore to be had. I provided the child protection laws and policies of the school. I stated we had complied with them and exercised our due diligence in the spirit of managing situations. In the spur of the moment, and all of the other support workers agreed, we had, and I provided the child protection training documents we are forced to do at the start of every single year. It's mandatory, and we cannot work in a classroom without having completed it. Even though once it's done, most staff ignore it. I also said that we had progressed 38 minutes into our lunch break and would now all be required to take that break or be paid overtime at double overtime rates. As it had been so many hours since our last break, which invites additional penalty rates, the union asked the principal to make a statement, which he did, and then we ended the call. The principal, upper management of the school, and my manager were all left absolutely stunned. We had managed to single-handedly get on record that the school was remiss in child protection laws. Upper management were not doing their jobs in rostering staff onto cover classes. Staff abuse for following all policies and procedures to the letter, and to top it off, all the schools had to give us all our lunch breaks in the afternoon, which ended up being the rest of the day. Because a meeting went well over break time, so in good faith, we all got to leave early on Friday afternoon. We got paid for it, along with our overtime rates, and we all went on strike the following Wednesday, when we all knew no exams were on, and our absence would not affect our students. Just to send a message, the management, the whole thing was on their heads, our absence was felt. But since we were not supposed to look after students without a fully qualified teacher around, they ended up having multiple classes with no supervision whatsoever on the Wednesday, because all the support staffs were not there to wrangle the masses. That's because more management to be exposed. That caused more management to be exposed for not doing their jobs. The following school term, management got shuffled around and relocated to try to get things back on track. If you don't home educate your kids, I suggest you do. This is a more common occurrence than most people think. So, I mean, yeah, like, what do you expect? I mean, because, like, there's so many, like, bosses out there. I don't have experience with that thing. I don't have experience with the thing, but, like, you don't know how many stories I've seen where it's just, like, bosses have pretty much just gotten away with everything